Ooh, bit hot. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, there we go. Good evening. Hello, YouTube. YouTube has joined us. And we're good to get rolling. Let me see if I have anything tagged first. Since the last time I saw you, imagine I probably do. Yeah. All right, we will pick up with Keith Ellison. I think that was the last thing I covered with you guys that I tagged last night. We'll pick it up with this. During a cabinet meeting, President Trump made a series of disparaging remarks about Somalia and Somali refugees living in Minnesota, including that they bitch and should go back to their country and fix it. Yes.
I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
Nope.
Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Such a great clip. Excellent clip. Full of great moments. I don't even really need to say anything, do I? All around good clip. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, real dirtbag, caught on tape pledging to help Somali fraudsters in exchange for campaign donations. If that is even remotely accurate, that does not surprise me one bit. Keith Ellison's a total scumbag. And also happens to be Minnesota's AG. Can clearly be heard pledging his support to individuals who would soon become his family's campaign donors and later, feeding our future criminal defendants. Yeah, that one. One that's been making headlines lately. Guess they donated to old Keith. His recorded statements flatly contradict his contemporaneous public statements and raise uncomfortable questions about the intersection between political fundraising and constituent services. It's almost like the whole fucking thing's a racket, isn't it? Uh-huh. Oh. Mid-sized Marco distances himself from the ridiculous Age of Disclosure documentary, which he happens to appear in. Really not surprised at all by this. I'm pretty certain they floated the possibility that this is exactly what they did. It sounds like they basically got an interview with Marco Rubio like 5 years ago-ish, back when he was not Secretary of State, under questionable pretenses. They probably told him certain things that were not quite accurate about what they were doing. And then, 4 or 5 years go by, the film's not made yet. He just forgets about it because, he does these things all the time. But then all of a sudden, after he becomes Secretary of State, then their big moment comes.
But I gotta ask.
He did still acknowledge that there's definitely something going on, but he kind of put a stop to the the whole alien business. Although he did stop short of calling these people, straight up calling them liars.
There's a show that's come out. It's called The Age of Disclosure.
Yeah.
Okay, I know everyone probably, right? Everyone asked you about it?
Sure.
It's a new documentary. We had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities. It's not ours, and presidents operate on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
Okay, that is...
So a couple points on it. First of all, I'm not disavowing that. That was an interview that was done almost like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I was in the Senate.
Right.
So it wasn't recent. The second point I would make, I was describing the allegations that people have come forward with. I had people that came forward to us. You know, some of these people were Navy pilots, admirals, generals, whatever. They would come forward and say, that there were programs in the U.S. government that not even presidents were made aware of. So I was describing what people had said to me, not things that I have firsthand knowledge of in that regard. A little bit of selective editing, but it's okay because, you know, you're trying to sell a show there. But the fundamental comments, I haven't seen it, but the clips I've seen and people have shown me are fundamentally true, and that is there are things, we know this has been documented, there have been things that fly over the airspace, restricted airspace, be it where we're conducting military exercises or the like, and everyone in the government says they're not ours. And so what I worry most about, just me personally, is that some adversary, another country, for example, has developed some asymmetric capability for surveillance or the like that we just are not prepared for. You know, we're looking for missiles and fighter jets, and they're coming at us with drones and balloons. Yeah. I remember, you know, when NORAD turned on the radars and started looking for balloons, all of a sudden they spotted a bunch of balloons flying overhead. 90% of them were innocent, you know, things. A couple of them were Chinese. And so, but we never look for balloons because our radars aren't trained for that. So that really was the point I was trying to drive at. I can't comment on the rest of the documentary. It has, as I said, claims from people that were former admirals, naval fighters, people with high clearances in government. Some of them are pretty spectacular claims. I'm not calling these people liars. I don't have independent knowledge that what they're saying is true. The one observation I had is we had people that did very important jobs in the U.S. government who are saying these things. So we have people with very high jobs in the U.S. government that are either A, liars, B, crazy, or C, telling the truth. And two of those three options are not good.
Those are the three options.
I don't know.
That is an excellent take there right at the end.
The answer. I don't have any point of...
Very fair.
You know, I don't want to call them liars. I just don't have any independent way to verify the things they said.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you it has been confirmed that Lou Elizondo is a repeat liar, and he's like kind of the central star of this whole documentary thing. So it all hinges on Lou. I mean, oh god, this was nuts. This wacko bitch, what's her name? Abby something or other, and forget the other one's name. Kristen Ball. Kristen Ball. Or Crystal Ball. This is the New York Botox-faced bimbo that, you know, the podcast bimbo that pushed Mamdani heavily, you know, totally just went full-blown wackadoo. Saying off the wall shit, like really nasty shit, inflammatory. Just listen to this one. This one's
Something else you said you'd had it with are minorities in ICE.
I mean, that connects to this, right?
Yeah.
Not only do you have no moral compass, and how many times have you seen these guys? They've got their masks on, so you can't see their whole face. But what you can see, it's like a brown skin tone and a dude who looks like his last name is probably like Lopez or Hernandez or something. It's like, what is wrong with you? Not only do you not have morality, apparently you don't have self-preservation. I mean, these people hate you. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your kids. They hate your future grandkids. They don't think you belong here. You're not a quote unquote heritage American. You're never going to belong. And you're the one implementing the violent force against your own community. I just can't wrap my head around that.
Something else you said you'd had it with are minorities in...
Stay on the plantation, slaves! Gosh! Crazy. Now what is the deal with this one? How old is this? When is this from? I wish this was coming directly from O'Keefe. Let's see. I think I just tagged it to check into in the future. I'm really not sure. I don't have 30 minutes to delve into digging into it, so maybe we'll come back to it if we have time later. Senator Mark Warner getting in on the insanity. Now openly calling for military coups against Trump, basically.
Unprecedented disrespect when they were all brought to get a pep rally in front of Hegseth and Trump. This is an administration that's fired, uniform generals from the head of the NSA, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. And I think in many ways, the uniformed military may help save us from this president and his lame people like Hegseth, because I think their commitment is to the Constitution and obviously not to Trump, and I expect Bradley to adhere to that.
So, Senator, let's go a little further on this. What are
really pushing that narrative? They're trying to pave a path in the minds of all the foot soldiers that are still out there, telling them that it's okay. Okay, we got your back. Just do something. Do something. Ignore an order. Ignore all your orders. We'll back you. We got your back. They're trying to make shit go haywire. It's already bad enough as it is, but oh yeah, the House Oversight Committee of Democrats are dropping never before seen videos and images of Epstein Island. Never mind the fact that we've seen them. From James O'Keefe, I believe. I think I tagged a post from him up here somewhere. Yeah. O'Keefe Media released these images in May 2025. Our director of communications reached out to Rep. Robert Garcia requesting an immediate retraction to Oversight Democrats' statement, which is that Oversight Democrats have received never-before-seen photos and videos of Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Yep, all the same ones. That's cute. Anything to grab headlines for a few minutes, right? Oh, and then all this business with Turning Point. Ooh, boy. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, this was just funny. There's now on CNN some legal citizen in New Orleans literally crying and hyperventilating because he went for a jog without his immigration papers and saw cops up in the distance. Very, very scary. I mean, could give anyone PTSD.
Well, we haven't seen those videos so far, but take a listen to the gentleman that we talked to today who was at the park. He was running and he saw some officers in the distance. He became terrified. Even though he has his immigration papers, he didn't
in the distance
have them on him while he was running. Take a listen, Boris.
And I feel uncertain because, when you go to make exercise, you don't carry your driving license, you don't carry nothing can prove you a citizen, but because what I can hear in social media and everything, these people is looking at your color.
Boris, he was hyperventilating at one point
or maybe they are listening to your poor English
during our interview. He started shedding tears
and asking some questions.
He said he was worried. He called his wife. He was driving home. He was upset because he didn't have his immigration paperwork on him at the time. He says he's a legal U.S. citizen, but he was so terrified that he'd be picked up and not make it home. He says he's trying to figure out whether or not he can still work with his business and whether or not this will impact that.
It sounds like not at all, because allegedly you're a legal resident of the country, sir. So what's the problem?
There's been a lot of restaurants that have also felt the impact of this. I'm actually holding this whistle here that's been handed out at some restaurants. The goal
yes, an immigration rape whistle.
of this is to make sure they put it in as many hands as possible. And when the ICE
They
agent
did not give those to the women. They were hustling over the border just in case they got raped. But now that they're here in the USA, gotta watch out for ICE.
didn't show up, people will start blowing the whistle. There have been organizations that are helping to educate people to make sure they know exactly what they should do to help folks, but not also violate the law, because federal agents have made it clear. If you block federal agents during the arrest, you could face prosecution yourself. Boris, this is going to be a very interesting week as this starts to kick off.
Yeah, no doubt. Ryan Young, thank you so much for staying on top of that for us in New Orleans. Still,
Lord. President Trump just granted a full pardon to Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas, saying Joe Biden ordered a witch hunt against Cuellar for speaking out against open borders. Oh, yeah. I remember that. That's right. I don't recall the witch hunt. I don't remember what happened to that, but I do remember him speaking out against the open border insanity at some point. Bravely spoke out against open borders. The Biden catastrophe. Sleepy Joe went after the congressman and even the congressman's wonderful wife, Imelda, simply for speaking the truth. It is un-American, and as I previously stated, the radical left Democrats are a complete and total threat to democracy. They will attack, rob, lie, cheat, destroy, and decimate anyone who dares to oppose their far-left agenda. An agenda that, if left unchecked, will obliterate our magnificent country. Yeah. Interesting move. Yes, now we get to the turning point stuff. Okay, so I guess whatever business Candace Owens is engaging in is now like just getting so loud. The turning point, the people in charge of Turning Point now are challenging her to join them on a live stream where they will dismantle every claim she has made about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't know what all exactly she's saying lately, because I just tuned that shit out after a while.
So that Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played. Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be. What our friends have had to endure is not funny, and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it. For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond. People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show, but for a long time, our approach was to say nothing. We did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is just, it's beneath contempt to respond to. The second reason we've said
it's a new one to me. What?
So little, though, is because there's a good rule of thumb, which Charlie followed. Do not feed the trolls. Focus on the mission. Reviving America, uplifting young people, making heaven crowded. Don't give air to people who want to tear you down and sow discord. Lastly, we didn't respond because
I don't know, my general gut take on all this stuff with her has just kind of been like, this is what happens when a woman with a whole shitload of money and an already existing massive audience and a lot of influence and a rich husband, influential rich husband, suddenly gets late onset schizophrenia in her mid to late 30s or whatever she is. It's not very pretty. Surrounded by people that won't tell them no. Well, at least at a personal level. Plenty of people in the audience, but they don't listen to that off. It's full-blown schizo in all too many cases. I do think she's probably hit on a few interesting things here and there in the midst of all of these schizo posting, but by and large, a lot of it is just schizo. Full-blown schizo.
Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and we were holding out hope that she would return that friendship and stop what she was doing. But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder. Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friend.
I do think, though, just all of the full-blown schizo stuff aside, I do think that she, at least from what I know about what she's saying, I do think she's probably right that there are some nasty people trying to get their paws on Turning Point and trying to gain control of it and make sure it doesn't go down a path that they don't want, right? They're and we'll get to another clip after this that'll kind of expand on that a little bit. It sounds like some of the lower levels at Turning Point, some of the grunt level people, behind the scenes people you don't see all that often, saw things at Turning Point that they didn't really like, to put it mildly. I found an interesting clip we'll play after this. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the whole mess. I think Candace is a schizo. I think the people mixed up in Turning Point are untrustworthy.
And
it's just a train wreck.
Continues to concoct new ones about new people. She's using these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country. And far too often, we here have heard from ordinary people, people who loved Charlie and who Charlie loved so much in return. These people have expressed the worry that we are staying silent out of cowardice or as some sort of tacit admission that some of the attacks are true. Neither is the case. Our silence has never been, and it will never be, equal to complacency or approval. Still, we decided Charlie would not allow this to go on. Charlie was not a coward. Charlie was a fighter. Charlie would not allow someone to spread lies about the people closest to him with impunity. And he would feel ashamed if other people were stepping...
I mean, it's easy enough to say all this, but Charlie's dead and can't really back any of this up, can he?
...up to defend his friends, while he never did so himself. Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So...
in either case, I'll add. In their case or in Candace's case.
Here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life. I feel it immensely. And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future.
Well, I mean, if that does happen, that would at the very least make for interesting television. So, okay. Now, where's the young lady? The other clip. Here we go.
I'm just going to say what I have to say, and if it lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda.
It's like all screwed up at the beginning.
Lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda. I worked for Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for 4 years. One of those years, I was a donor relations officer in Phoenix, Arizona. And that means is I worked with all the donors within a certain region for all of Turning Point's assets. So Turning Point Action, Turning Point Academy, Turning Point USA, Faith, Blexit, podcasting, everything. When I saw Candace Owens' comment this morning, granted, I am not a Candace Owens fan, personally. And that comment, I felt like I had to say something. What I did for Turning Point USA within that department was some of the most... I can't even begin to describe it, because the people that I felt like I was working for were not... They were She
wants to say disgusting.
Horrible. I mean, like...
But she won't.
It was just some of the...
Again, seems like a nice young girl, and she doesn't want to say it.
Worst times ever. And I was working for such an amazing, brilliant idea of an organization, and to see it for what it really was behind the scenes, and what makes it Turning Point, which is money. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. That's how it works in the nonprofit world. It took me so much towards the end not to tell donors to take their money elsewhere. That is the first time I've said that out loud. And I'm so proud of myself for being able to come out of that organization and be who I am today. And I hope that all of my amazing, brilliant friends that I know that are still there are able to find their moment to move on. Gosh, the people that are behind it all are just like the worst of the worst. I don't take things personally. This is not a personal vendetta. I just know there are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it. I know the disgust and the terrible things that go on. So anyway, just leaving this here for people to find and see what they think. But all in all, stop watching the news. Stop paying attention to people who just don't matter in your life. Focus on your family, your friends, your loved ones. Get out of the political world. It's not real. None of it is real.
That is excellent advice.
But yeah, love the Lord.
And pretty
Love the
much
Lord.
across the board true these days, sadly. Okay. What did I take here? This related material. Oh, yeah. Project Veritas is getting in on this too. And it's been the target of governments for years. What? Need to blackmail her, Candace Faster, said Mary Barr Daly, former senior DOJ official. Oh, daughter of former AG Bill Barr. Vaguely remember this. Reading something about it somewhere. Okay. I guess this came out back November. Oh yeah, around the time she made that assassination claim, she was hit squad after her, whatever. Representation from Mary Barr stated the texts are fabricated. Meanwhile, neither she nor other subjects of our released text, such as her father, Bill Barr, Armstrong Williams, Jason Miller, nor Michael Ben Ari, have followed through on their legal threats. Fear of discovery. Could be. And then a couple of days ago, this came. Project Veritas claiming here, threatening texts from number linked to Armstrong Williams corroborate Project Veritas's report on the targeting of Candace Owens by Mary Barr. Telling them to be careful. Okay. Is Candace paying for your security these days? Because if she isn't, she really ought to be. Definitely a creepy thing to say. Strong will. That guy. Yeah. Sure. Okay, MSNBC meltdown. Full panic mode over Trump calling out Somali fraud in Minnesota. I'll bet a lot of money that all their cronies stand to lose.
Local officials say an immigration operation has now begun in Minnesota. Just
to say nothing of the criminal charges.
One day after President Trump ramped up his attacks against the Somali community. In xenophobic tirade yesterday, the president called for Somalis to go back where they came from.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
MS Now's Alex Tabbitt reports from Minneapolis. Also with us, MS Now contributor and professor at Princeton University, Eddie Glaude. Eddie, we have this conversation a lot. The President of the United States just called human beings citizens. I should point out nearly all Somalis in Minnesota are U.S. citizens. He called them garbage. As some members of the Somali community pointed out, he also has a track record of demonizing the Muslim community. Mm-hmm. What did you think when you heard what came from the president yesterday?
I didn't think. It was really just rage. It was anger. There is a sense in which Donald Trump, Chris, traffics in hatred and grievance. It's the fuel for his political rise. And here, he's demonizing an entire community because he can't quite articulate the ideology that's driving it all. Right? So this is kind of nationalist sovereignty. This is nationalist conservatives talk, Chris. That nationalist conservatism talk. They believe in national sovereignty, national identity, and they claim that they're
Boy, vague word salad. Okay, carry on, sir.
Not white supremacists, but at the heart of it, they are, and Donald Trump gave voice to it. So my initial reaction is that we need to get at the ideology that's at the root of the rant, and not just pin it on his shoulders.
There's something else there, Eddie, and I think it's about the way that some people refer to the phrase politically correct, as if it's a disease.
It is.
Words matter. You understand words, and you live in that.
Could have fooled me.
World in your everyday professional life. But what about the use of that? Just saying, well, I know it's not going to be politically correct. Is that a rallying cry? What is it?
Seriously? Is this seriously a question? Is this really a topic of discussion?
there's this sense in which political correctness as a phrase aims to censure certain kinds of language, right? That it's a kind of curtailment of free speech. But when we see how he invoked it in this moment, what the language of political correctness actually signifies or signals is that there's something very noxious being said, right? Some idea that in this instance dehumanizes an entire group of people. And so what's politically correct for him is that there's a kind of moral standard that one shouldn't talk in that way about other human beings, or the president of the United States shouldn't refer to U.S. citizens as garbage because of where they're from. And that gets read as politically correct, because remember, political correctness is seen by some as a curtailment of free speech, when in fact it's holding people accountable for hateful speech. And lo and behold, hateful speech came out of the mouth of the president of the United States.
Who is this fucking guy?
States yesterday.
He's hilarious.
So let's go to Minnesota. Alex, what do you?
Who is this fucking moron? Council clown Jamal Osman. Council of what? And wackadoos? Like
local?
What? Minneapolis? God, that's scary. City council? Ugh. No wonder it's such a mess up there. Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson being asked about the second strike on the narco boat.
Okay, so this double tap thing is all over the news right now. I've seen a lot of former military personnel come out and say this happens all the time, like second strikes happen all the time. I mean, what is the official position of this from the Department of War? Is this a common thing, second strikes? Does this happen often? Have you guys had it checked with lawyers?
Yeah, we've been working with our lawyers up and down the chain of command on every single one of the strikes that we've conducted, and they have said without a shadow of a doubt, all the way up the chain of command, that these are totally legal. There's absolutely no issue with them, because the president designated these groups as designated terrorist organizations, and that unlocks a lot for us. Now we can engage in lethal and kinetic ways that we never could before. So there's no question that we have the ability to engage as we have been, and all of our commanders on the ground who are entrusted with a lot of these in real-time decisions make great calls, and the secretary stands behind them 100%. Admiral Bradley is absolutely fantastic. Former SEAL Team 6 commander. I mean, the guy is totally awesome, a total warrior through and through. He made the right call. The secretary backs him 100%. And I think the mainstream media now, after getting fact-checked by the New York Times, of all people, is starting to lose the wind in their sails on this narrative. The American people, at the end of the day, voted for President Trump to dismantle narco-terrorism and to stop these deadly drugs from coming into the country, and they're proud to see what the department's doing.
Okay, I've got
pretty much.
Two more questions for you. This one's still related to the double tap thing. What was the purpose of that double tap strike? The mainstream media is saying that the boat was basically destroyed and that it seemed to be that it was just to kill the survivors. What was the rationale for that second strike?
It was twofold. It was to eliminate the threat to our country, and it was also to sink the boat. It was twofold. And we stand behind that decision 100%. The president has given us the clear authority to conduct these strikes all over the Western Hemisphere whenever we find boats. And there's been a lot in the mainstream media too about like, oh, that's a fisherman who's driving a submarine. The American people know that semi-submersible submarines are not something a fisherman from, Venezuela or whatever country owns, right? We know without a shadow of a doubt that these people are narco-terrorists. They're connected to narco-terrorist organizations. They're very well funded. They have a lot of assets, and they're a danger to...
It'd have to be sending submarines out. Even poorly constructed ones are nothing to sneeze at. It's not cheap to build that.
To the American people, and we know what's on those boats. They're bringing deadly drugs to our countries, and we will continue to take them out and to sink them. President Biden, when he was in office, welcomed these people through our southern border in mass, gave them free phones, free healthcare, free housing. Now they're at the bottom of a boat in the ocean. They're sunk, and the secretary is very committed to ensuring that we continue those operations.
Okay, last question. The mainstream media is running with the argument that the boat at that point was no longer a threat to national security. What is your point of view on that? Can you speak to that a little bit?
So I can tell you, that our commander, Admiral Bradley, who was the actual person that, gave the order to conduct that second strike, made a decision in real time that still was a threat, and that the boat still posed a threat to the American people, and he made that decision to take it out and to conduct the follow-on strike, and we agree with him 100%. The Secretary has told me many times that he would have made the exact same call, seeing all the evidence, and I think the American people can be very confident in our decision-making process and know that these strikes are not something that we just do willy-nilly. They're very targeted, and we have a lot of intelligence confirming, so we know exactly who we're hitting, and we will continue to do that for every single one going forward.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kingsley.
Thank you so much.
Nice. Good to see that the Department of War's press secretary is doing like these one-on-one kind of extended Q&As with I assume other media outlets too, not just this guy. But that's good. That's a good move. To have them kind of in a setting like that. Certainly not something we saw from previous admin. Trump says Biden had no knowledge of what was signed with the auto pen. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly what it was. Those people are guilty, in my opinion, of a major crime.
But Biden knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And there's a lot of things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception of the pardon of his wonderful son, Hunter, just about everything he signed was not signed by him. He had no knowledge of it. He didn't know what it was. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly what it was. And those people are guilty, in my opinion, of a major crime. Everything that was signed by that auto pen, the man operating the auto pen, and I'm sure there are more than one, because I think some of the people can operate it themselves, some of the high-level people operated themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an auto pen onto very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe CAFE standards, okay, as an example. Who signed CAFE? If you ask Biden what's a CAFE standard, he would have absolutely no idea. So he'd say, where is the CAFE located? The guy didn't know anything. Look, that just shows you what a rigged election can be, but you understand what I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's all I had typed. Now onto the main pile stuff here, which I imagine is, well, piling up as piles do. Okay, let's see. Oh boy, yeah, it's a big pile today. That's always good. On. There we are. All right, there's the bottom. Jack Smith just got subpoenaed. Oh. What's this all about? Jim Jordan has directed Jack Smith to testify on the 17th December. Ooh. 2 weeks away. Due to your service as special counsel, this committee believes that you possess information that is vital to its oversight of this matter. Weaponizing government against Republicans. Okay. He'll plead the fifth. Pathetic moment for Hakeem Jeffries as he tries to weasel his way out of giving Trump credit for securing the border when CNN actually does their job and presses him on it.
securing the border. Can you give President Trump any credit for securing the border? Because as you know, that was a big issue under the Biden administration when you had record border crossings, and those border crossings have gone down dramatically. Can you give him credit for that?
The border is secure. That's a good thing. It's happened on his watch. He wants to claim credit for it. Of course, he'll get credit for that. In terms of making sure that we actually deal with the issues that matter, including on immigration or beyond, there's a lot that is left to be desired.
You know, another securing the border. Can you give President Trump any credit for securing the border?
Okay. Indiana, I guess, now has a proposed constitutional amendment letting judges and prosecutors get impeached if they get if they let violent criminals run rampant. Can they? Do they have the numbers to get that through? A freaking constitutional amendment? And what the requirements are in Indiana, but they're pretty much across the board, overwhelming everywhere. So. They'd have to have some significant numbers to get that through. Trump admin has canceled citizenship ceremonies for individuals from 19 countries covered under a new travel ban. Includes a halt on green card and citizenship applications. Yeah. The 19 countries are as follows: Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Iraq, Kyrgyzstan, Libya, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Uzbekistan, Venezuela, and Yemen. Tim Burchett just filed to become chairman of the DOJ committee in the House.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, just leaving Oversight Committee. Again, most Democrats, they always have a good meal in there. Why don't we ever have a good meal? Anyway, I have officially put my name in to chair the DOJ committee. Marjorie is leaving Congress, and that'll leave the committee wide open. I sure would love an opportunity, and I know cards are stacked against me. I don't do a lot to endear myself to the leadership, but frankly, they don't do a lot to endear themselves to me. So, and y'all know how this game works. You got to raise a lot of money and kiss a lot of butt. I don't do a good job at either one, though.
Dadgum the dadgum.
So, but anyway, I sure would like an opportunity to do that. I think I got the backbone and I guess the guts to go after this spending, and I think I know where a lot of it's hidden. And honestly, I proposed some dadgum legislation to do it.
He dadgummed again. He dadgummed.
Get with folks like y'all out there on social media, put some pressure on some of these gutless legislators.
You turn that shit into a drinking game.
Pass some of this stuff. So, anyway, we'll keep on.
Watch a 5-minute video, be pissed drunk by the end.
I'm fighting. Thank y'all for sitting there.
Oh boy. Anyway. Yeah, he's fun. Oversight Committee, GOP Oversight. We launched an investigation into massive fraud allegations under Tim Walz's watch in Minnesota. If you are an employee or have information, Chairman Comer wants to know. Fill out our whistleblower form to help us get the truth. Retweeting that account that claimed to be a collective of Minnesota state employees that were trying to basically blow the whistle about all the fraud taking place in the state. No way of knowing whether the account is legit or not. At this point, at least as far as I'm aware, I don't know of any media outlets that have tried to go confirm for 100% sure whether or not the person behind this account is actually you know, representing a group like that or not. Not sure. Definitely interesting, though. President Trump. Oh, yeah. We already saw Cuellar getting pardoned. We'll move on. Mark Warner being a tard. We saw Jasmine Crockett, however. Ooh. A lean notice says Democratic Rep. Jasmine Crockett has failed and refused to pay over $3,000 in condo fees, while campaign filings show nearly $75,000 was spent on luxury hotels travel. Very on brand. They seem to like doing this. Rep. Maxine Waters from California's 43rd District. And the ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee is reportedly delinquent on property taxes for her multi-million-dollar Los Angeles, California mansion. Residence remains in default, with a redemption amount still due, totaling just over $20,000. That's... Yes. On a multi-million-dollar mansion in California? She must have owned it for forever. Nine cabinet meetings in under 1 year. In the Trump admin versus 9 cabinet meetings in all 4 years under Biden. Wow. Okay. Oh, Rep. Ilhan Omar on MS Now.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic.
A xenophobic.
And Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations a shithole in his...
Was he wrong, or... Because I don't think he was.
First administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has...
Oh, that can be fixed.
welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
We'll see about that. St. Paul, Minnesota Mayor Melvin Carter gets cute with whataboutism to deflect from the epidemic of Somali fraud in his state.
The prosecutors say that more than $1 billion in taxpayer money has been stolen amid these 3 investigations.
Is that all?
Including those children's nutrition programs.
It's more than that.
I mentioned. Do you think Minnesota officials should be taken to task for allowing or not realizing, is probably the better phrase, that it was happening?
Like I said, and it's important that you said what you said, and that's right. Those are really serious allegations, and that's terrible. The folks who did that, that's terrible. They have to be held account. They have to be held to account. I'm really afraid to find out what the president's going to do when he finds out how much fraud European Americans are responsible for in this country.
Something tells me it's not going to be nearly as bad as Somalians.
Hopefully he won't try to take that out on all European Americans, including, by the way, the supposed mastermind of that Feeding Our Future scandal, who was actually the centerpiece of that, who was not Somali American. And so, yes, those are serious things. Yes, like I said, our state law enforcement infrastructure is what caught those things, is what prosecuted those crimes, and is what held those folks to account. This notion that we're going to take a whole nation and declare a whole nation of people guilty for crimes that a couple of individuals did, That's astoundingly un-American. It's a fallacy of
It's a pattern. It's a pattern of behavior.
Of logic and a fallacy of justice.
And it seems to run a little bit deep in your so-called community up there. Massive welfare fraud in Minnesota. Democrats turning a blind eye. All right, James Comer here.
Well, we know that there are government employees that have come forward that said they alerted both Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison.
Oh yeah, they're mixed up in it somehow. That much is painfully obvious at this point.
That this fraud was taking place and that both the Attorney General and the Governor of Minnesota turned a blind eye to it, that they were afraid of the bad press or the political consequences.
That's best case scenario.
Because they may be discriminating against the Somalis or the other illegals that had come into Minnesota. Look, at the end of the day, this is about waste, fraud, abuse in our government. That's why we had a battle to shut down the government. That's why we battled with the Democrats over the big, beautiful bill and the changes and reforms made to Medicaid and other government programs. There are massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse, and much of this waste, fraud, and abuse revolves around illegals. They're in blue states where you have liberal governors like Tim Walz who have welcomed all these illegals in for purely political reasons, and they're turning a blind eye to the massive amount of government programs that they're defrauding the American taxpayer. So we want to shine a light on this, obviously, but we hope to hold the governor accountable for his wrongdoing if he, in fact, did know about this. And look, this is a problem in a lot of states, so hopefully this will lead to massive reform.
Hopefully it will lead to all of these people getting kicked out back home where they belong. NASA Administrator nominee Jared Isaacman delivers a powerful and urgent opening message at his confirmation hearings going on now.
To begin, I'd like to acknowledge my family. So my parents, Sandy and Don Isaacman, behind me, my wife, Monica, my two wonderful daughters, Mila and Liv. So over the years, I've found many ways to challenge their patience, and politics is certainly no exception. We are also joined today by 7 astronauts, some of my closest friends and crewmates, together with NASA astronauts that have come to this hearing in support. Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge and appreciate that Senator Britt from the state of Alabama is here today. So not only home to Marshall Space Flight Center, but also to Space Camp, which is where my journey began. As mentioned before, I have lived the American dream. I've been fortunate to have an amazing business and aeronautics career, to have led 2 notable missions to space, to help charitable causes that matter deeply to my family. And now I'm beyond thankful for a chance to repay my debt to this nation by serving alongside the brilliant minds at the world's most accomplished space agency. The last time I sat before you, I introduced myself, my qualifications, and the challenges and opportunities ahead. This time I'm here with a message of urgency. After more than a half-century, America is set to launch NASA astronauts around the moon in just a matter of months. This is a challenging endeavor, to say the least, and one that requires full-time leadership. Secretary Duffy, in his letter to this committee endorsing my nomination, emphasized this point. The message is shared by more than 4 dozen other letters of support, including an online petition started by members of the NASA workforce and a letter from 36 NASA astronauts who, like me, have sat through anomaly investigations, launched and flight readiness reviews, and have accepted the risks of going to space and understand what is at stake. And I know it's not lost on anyone in this room that we are in a great competition with a rival that has the will and the means to challenge American exceptionalism across multiple domains, including in the high ground of space. This is not the time for delay, but a time for action. Because if we fall behind, if we make a mistake, we may never catch up, and the consequences could shift the balance of power here on Earth. This Congress, and specifically this committee, understand the urgency of the moment, placing a historic investment in human space exploration that President Trump signed in the One Big Beautiful Bill. It's now time for NASA and its partners to deliver. To that end, I want to assure you, senators, I am not here for personal gain, to favor or enrich contractors, to close centers, or disrupt programs that are essential to completing America's objectives in space. If confirmed, I'm here to bring urgency and extreme focus to the mission, to do all I can working with the best and brightest at NASA to lead humanity's efforts to unlock the secrets of the universe and ensure American leadership across the last great frontier. In concert with that grand endeavor, we will ensure the following: the success of the Artemis program that President Trump began during his first term. America will return to the moon before our great rival, and we will establish an enduring presence to understand and realize the scientific, economic, and national security value on the lunar surface. Along the way, we will pioneer the next giant leap in capabilities to extend America's reach even further into space, including expanding and accelerating investments into nuclear propulsion, both nuclear electric and nuclear thermal, and surface power programs. These efforts, in addition to industry partners building reusable launch vehicles, will set the stage for future missions to Mars and beyond. We will never accept a gap in capabilities again, not with our space station presence in low Earth orbit or our ability to send American astronauts to the moon. We will strive to build an orbital and lunar economy that can fund the future we all want to see in space someday and not rely exclusively on the taxpayer. We will begin making the investments now for the inevitable spacefaring future that is just on the horizon. We will make the most efficient use of every dollar allocated, pushing for more X-planes, more rovers and telescopes, more exciting missions like Hubble, James Webb, and Dragonfly, with the aim of enlightening the world through breakthrough scientific discoveries, knowing that if NASA doesn't do it, no one else will. Some of the most talented people in America show up to work at NASA. Alongside a reinvigorated culture and an intense focus on achieving the near impossible, when no other organization is capable of or even dares to accomplish, we will achieve these objectives. And when, not if, we get the job done, it will be because of the professionals at NASA, our international and our commercial partners, this committee in Congress, and President Trump's administration that will have succeeded in ushering in a new golden age of science and discovery. We'll do it for America, for humankind, and in doing so, we will inspire the world and generations to follow to take us even farther. We are just getting started on the greatest adventure in human history, and with urgency and purpose and extreme focus on the mission, NASA will lead the way. Thank you.
I think he's actually a pretty good choice for the role. I haven't seen anything from him that I don't like. I mean, we'll see. Never know, I guess, but I've liked pretty much everything I've heard from Isaacman when it comes to this stuff. So Minnesota failed to follow the law and illegally doled out trucking licenses to unsafe, unqualified non-citizens. Transportation Secretary Duffy: follow the law or lose funding. Yep, they're hitting them too. All these states that have pulled this shit with commercial driver's licenses, they gotta pay the price. That shit's gotta stop. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell files paperwork to run for Minnesota governor. Oh, interesting. Committee was registered with the state's campaign finance board on Wednesday. In an interview this morning, he told the Minnesota Star Tribune that his run for governor isn't 100% yet, but he intends to announce his decision at a news conference next week. I'm going to announce either way on December 11th, he says.
And uncontrolled immigration is obviously a security issue, and it's not just for the United States, but all the allies, including here at NATO. We just had a foreign ministers meeting today where all 32 allies came together, and this was on the table, and both in our multilateral meeting.
Trying to, so it looks like they're very quickly following through on this. That's good. Ramping up pressure on other Western nations to put a stop to the global migration insanity.
that we had in the big conference room and in our individual meetings with our allies is that this is not the solution for growth. You need to know who's coming into your country. They need to be vetted, and they need to have your country's interest. They need to become integrated and become part of your country. They can't form separate countries within your own country. And I think we've seen a lot of allies that have struggled with that, and they're finally heeding the call. But, we had our own problem just not too long ago with unregulated immigration, with illegal immigration. 20 million people came into our country during Joe Biden's administration. That's unsustainable, and it destabilized not only our own country, but I think the world as a whole. And so we're cleaning up this mess, and our allies need to clean up the mess as well, because it's unsustainable and it leads to massive security challenges.
Targets of, I haven't heard of this one. Operation Catahoula Crunch. Include violent, criminal, illegal aliens who were released after arrest for home invasion, armed robbery, grand theft auto, and rape. New Orleans.
What have you seen so far today?
Yeah, hey, Nicole. So we're currently sitting on a target right now with Border Patrol. We're embedded with them as they conduct their operations. It's important for us to be embedded with them to see how they conduct things here in New Orleans, because, of course, they've received backlash in other cities where they've conducted these operations. L.A., Chicago, they face lawsuits and other issues there. So we're kind of seeing how these operations are conducted and unfolding here in New Orleans as well. Now, right now, the target that they're currently looking at is a Cuban national. He's an aggravated felon, and he's also a sex offender. Remember, these crimes were committed here in the United States. And so right now, what DHS is saying is they're going after the worst of the worst. They're going after these criminal targets. You're looking at some of them on the screen who they say were released back to the streets because of sanctuary policies that, quote, force local authorities to ignore ICE arrest detainers in New Orleans. Now, the individuals that you're looking at were singled out by the administration, arrested for crimes including home invasion, armed robbery, grand theft auto, and rape. Now, when it comes to this city, it's wildly different than the former operations that we've seen. Of course, as Catahoula Crunch, that operation unfolds, they have different support here in New Orleans. The governor actually requested federal support and federal reinforcement as this operation is now underway. So we will likely see the National Guard deployed to this area in the coming weeks as well, based on comments that President Trump has made. So when it comes to this operation, again, this is a targeted enforcement operation that we're sitting on right now as we are embedded with Border Patrol, because they are going after this specific target. They establish patterns of life. They find out where they're living. They have warrants to go after them for arrest. So that is what they are doing right now and what we are observing. So right now they're waiting until they have those eyes on the target, and then they will deploy and go after that specific individual. Now, they are looking at two different individuals with similar crimes. Both ag felons, both are sex offenders, and both are Cuban nationals, and they're both in this area. So they're waiting to get eyes on those targets.
Good to see him going into New Orleans and cleaning it up a bit. Oh, what? Geez, what? Man. 8-year-old boy electrocuted in his sleep after his necklace becomes entangled between a phone charger and an extension cord. Dude.
Scary. I almost
thank God he survived. Jeez.
thought I was gonna die. It was chaos, but I do remember some of it.
Enzo rolled over in his sleep, and his chain necklace just happened to fall in between where the gap was on the extension cord and the charger, which is what shocked him.
He was shaking and felt the heat on his neck and tried to scream but couldn't. Eventually, he was able to pull the chain off his neck and get help while his shirt was still on fire.
The other hospital, the lady had told him had he not pulled that chain off, he would have been electrocuted to death, so he basically saved his own life.
I guess I saved myself, and I'm happy about that.
Courtney Pendleton says her son has been incredibly brave. It's his first time in the hospital, and he has burns on his body, neck, and hands, and he's now scheduled for a skin graft surgery.
They were treating me nice. I just like being nice to talk to and just having fun. Scary. I almost thought I was gonna die. It was chaos, but I do remember some of it.
Enzo rolled.
Jeez. Crazy. Okay. Epstein files. Will Kane talks with Rep. Anna Polina Luna about Epstein and what she discovered in the declassified documents. Probably not that much.
So what have you learned from the declassified documents?
There was talk from the victim's attorney that Jeffrey Epstein had been passing notes back and forth with the former director of the CIA while he was under day camp prison, is what I'll call it. And so, mind you, he had already been convicted for already victimizing some of those younger women. But what was interesting is I did follow up to figure out at what point, was this American intelligence, was this former intelligence? And so what's interesting to know is that the CIA does keep records of their assets, of their informants, etc. Not to say that this information possibly wasn't destroyed, and I think that that's going to be probably a separate conversation that you and I will have to have after I finish answering this question. But to my knowledge, the current CIA, so remember, during different administrations and different directors, sometimes things get lost. There's proof of that even with our Kennedy investigation. But under this current CIA director, I don't believe that they've found evidence that he was working as an American intelligence asset. I absolutely think that he was running a blackmail operation.
Okay. Someone's challenge to live stream we saw was Turning Point. Man claims to have set a new world record by becoming the first person to hold a soccer match 5,900 feet above the ground, suspended from a hot air balloon. The lengths people will go to get their name in that fucking book it's weird. It's weird. Am I wrong? Like, why? What possible reason? The one I just saw yesterday was the guy who swam around, he like circumnavigated Manhattan or something, like through the, went through Harlem, like the rivers, all the way around. It was like a almost like 20-mile swim or something while handcuffed. Just to do the same thing. Just to get their name in that fucking book. Ridiculous. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but like, what the fuck? Too much money. Oh, God. This is St. Cloud, Minnesota. Christian churches are being replaced with mosques. Aw, how fun. But they're friendly, right?
Inside of this town,
there's nothing wrong with them.
Cloud, this is one of the many Islamic...
Except for, all the fraud and the abuse and... But hey.
...centers here. This is a mosque here, but something that's super interesting about this mosque right here, it actually used to be a Lutheran church. You can see right here on the backdrop of this wall right here, this used to be a Lutheran church. So that just shows how much of the population has shifted from Christian to Muslim as far as the people in the population here inside of this town, as this used to be a Lutheran church. Now it's an Islamic mosque. So right here is the St. Cloud University, and we were just at that mosque right there, and then if you go another block over, there's another mosque. And then what's interesting is right next to this mosque right here, there's a Presbyterian church. So you have two churches right next to each other, one worshiping Allah and the other worshiping God. English? Speak English? No. Anybody speak English? How are you? Good. Good. How would you describe the rise of Islam here inside of Minnesota or inside of St. Cloud?
We have talked to Islamic.
And are you from Somalia?
Yes. Yes.
And what year did you come here?
Come here in 1990.
What's attracting a lot of people to convert to Islam?
These look like people I'd like in my neighborhood.
I don't really have much knowledge on that, but basically human life process and all that, you know, like what's going on around the world and stuff. I think something like that.
And do the people here in Minnesota, are they very receptive to Islam here?
It depends, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And how long have you lived here for?
8 years.
8 years? And where are you from?
Somalia, Mogadishu.
And why are a lot of Somalians choosing to come here to Minnesota?
Different reasons.
That free money and shit.
Family, wages. A lot of different reasons.
Man. Free for all, baby. Asking Minnesotans if Somalians have taken over.
Do you guys think St. Cloud has been taken over by Somalis?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the Somali takeover?
Get out.
I don't know.
Get out. It says get out.
Want him here?
I mean, we can't.
I mean, I'm fine with them. It's just that, like, it's like overpopulating.
Do you feel like they're gonna...
That's... Way to go, kid. Very matter of fact.
Eventually
No hate. Nothing personal, but they just gotta go.
Populate the Americans here?
Yeah, they definitely will.
And did you guys vote for them to come here? As far as like, did you guys have to pass any legislation in order to receive them?
No.
In your personal opinion, what's the biggest issue with them being here inside of you guys' city?
Driving.
Bingo. Same shit you hear about Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, and any damn where else they end up. South Florida, for one. Frickin' ridiculous. Crapshoot every time you go out in your car.
It's always a car crash for no reason.
Robbing people.
Yeah, definitely crime. Pirates.
And the correlation
Pirates.
between the
Literally, actual, literal pirates.
Somalis and Muslims, are the majority of them all Muslims?
But not the Yar kind. The kind with AK-47s that will rape you and then kill you. Possibly not in that order.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, do you guys think the Somalis will be the majority here?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys think St. Cloud has been taken?
Yeah. Raccoon broke into a closed liquor store. Oh, oh no! Dave, what are you doing, Dave?
A raccoon.
We have a raccoon we call Dave. Crumbus Dave. His name is Crumbus Dave. Don't ask me where that came from. Daughter came up with it. It's adorable. And he likes to dig through our trash can and get himself into trouble every night.
Broke into
It's gotten so bad we had to put a vice on our trash can.
a closed.
Like literally like a C clamp. Like a freaking wee, you know, a C clamp. Like around the lid of the trash can to clamp it shut.
Virginia liquor store and drank alcohol from the bottom shelves over the weekend. An animal control officer says the raccoon was found Saturday, passed out next to the store's toilet. The officer says the raccoon then sobered up after a few hours. Officials says they released him back into the wild. A raccoon broke into a closed Virginia liquor store and drank.
My daughter's gonna love this. I need to save this. Oh my god. Hold on. I need to text this to Radix before I forget. 1 second, please. There we go. President Trump blasting Frank Sinatra over the loudspeakers at the White House today. Nice. I did it my way. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's pretty faint, but he's playing I Did It My Way. Maduro caves to Trump, resumes accepting illegal alien deportation flights from America.
Today, Venezuela announcing it will now resume accepting deportation flights from the United States at President Trump's demand. This as the Pentagon continues to defend its strikes on alleged narco-terrorists at sea. Lucas Tomlinson is reporting. He's live here in Washington. Welcome back from Trinidad, Lucas. What's going on down south?
Thanks, John. President Trump says he didn't know anything about that secondary strike on the alleged drug boat at the center of scrutiny right now in Washington. Trump gave his support to the mission and his War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, who said he didn't stick around after the initial strike because he had a meeting to attend.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war.
The strike in question, September 2nd off the coast of Trinidad, the first of more than 20 over the past 3 months on alleged narco-terrorists. Those who initially survived that September 2nd strike were later killed in a follow-up attack. Republican Senator Rand Paul condemned the strike earlier today.
I frankly think it's absolutely illegal. Their latest explanation is they weren't blowing up the people, they were blowing up the boat. If those darn people just wouldn't cling to the wreckage, they would be fine.
Hegseth says the order to strike the boat again was made by Navy SEAL Admiral Frank Bradley, who at the time was leading Joint Special Operations Command. General Keane says the follow-up strike was necessary.
In this case, the boat and the cargo needed to be destroyed and the terrorists eliminated. And given the fact that terrorists weren't eliminated, it's well within that commander's authority to finish and eliminate the mission that he was assigned.
Chuck Schumer says he wants the full video of that September 2nd strike released. Senator Tim Kaine.
Yeah, let's see the video.
Just told our
I'm game. Let's see the video.
Colleague Bill
I want to see it.
Lawmakers intend to file a war powers resolution this week to debate the issue of the U.S. potentially striking Venezuela. And Admiral Bradley will also be meeting lawmakers on the Hill tomorrow, John.
Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Sonny just dropped in D-Live chat. An F-16 just crashed near Trona Airport in California. Let me find it here. Oh, shit. Thank God he ejected. Look at that.
Oh, shit!
Looks like a piece of his... Can't tell if... Yeah, it looks like that might be a piece of debris, like tangled in the parachute lines. That's not good. Maybe part of the ejection stuff. I no idea. I wonder if there's any other clips here. Oh, that's flying over the aftermath. The wreckage on the ground. Looks like no other clips. Just that one so far. There's the wreckage on the ground. Wow. Yikes.
Oh, shit!
Yay. Homeland Security says you're playing word games to keep an illegal alien murderer in America. California rejected the ICE detainer for an illegal alien charged with killing an 11-year-old boy. Gavin Newsom says he'll only cooperate with ICE if the criminal illegal alien is convicted, meaning California will let him roam free even though he's been arrested for a felony hit and run. Hector Balderas Aguilar has been previously deported 4 times and committed a felony when he illegally entered for a 5th time. Disgusting. DOJ sues 6 Democrat-led states for not providing voter registration rolls. Good. Progress there. Filed all 6 lawsuits against Delaware, Maryland, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington. Oh yeah, the serial slapper. Suspect arrested after an NYU student was randomly attacked and slapped on Monday. James, what's looks sane?
wrong with you?
Could be your neighbor.
What happened on the sidewalk, James? James, what happened on the sidewalk? James, help us understand. Why do you keep attacking women? What were you doing
Because he likes slapping that ass.
the apartment? What's wrong with
Obviously.
you, James?
Duh.
James, anything you want to say to your
The ass slapper, right? This is a serial ass slapper.
victims?
Or did he face slap? Was it a face slap or an ass slap? Either way. Agreed by Border Patrol agents in Kenner near New Orleans.
Alright, too close, too close. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Right? I want everyone on that curb right there. Alright, that's a safe distance for us. Okay. Stand on the curb.
It's not a lawful race order either.
Yes, it is.
What is? I'm backing up.
So absurd.
Back up.
Back up.
These people, man.
What's the deck now?
A frickin' camper in the front yard, like, oh man.
Back up. I'm not gonna touch again.
One person arrested in Burlington parking lot by Border Patrol agents in Kenner again. Part of the Catahoula Crunch operation. Mila Jayapal just announced a new bill to completely eliminate the ability of DHS to detain illegal aliens and require that illegals be given taxpayer-funded lawyers.
Today to say enough. Our Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act has a remarkable, unprecedented 123 original co-sponsors. Before we've even introduced it, 123 co-sponsors, and it overhauls the detention system.
Wow.
It drastically scales back the use of detention. It ensures
Oh yeah, that'll end well.
that every single immigrant who is in detention has their human and civil rights protected. Our bill also phases out the use of private for-profit detention centers. It prohibits the detention of children and families and makes it harder to detain primary caregivers and vulnerable people like pregnant women or seniors or workers who are whistleblowing on unscrupulous employers. It requires DHS to allow members of Congress to do our jobs and conduct those unannounced inspections that hold these facilities accountable. As an immigrant myself, today to say enough. Our Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act has a remarkable, unprecedented 123 original co-sponsors. Before we've even introduced it, 123 co-sponsors, and it overhauls the detention system. It drastically scales back the use of detention. It ensures that every single immigrant who is in detention has their...
Oh, sorry, I let that loop. My bad. NIH contractor admits to ripping down and trashing federal portraits of President Trump, J.D. Vance, RFK Jr., and Director Jay Bhattacharya inside the Maryland headquarters. Man, F these guys. I just decided to rip them off the wall. I threw those motherfuckers away.
James O'Keefe standing in front of the National Institute of Health. This man, Joseph Omert, works as a contractor for National Institute of Health, and he is bragging on tape about destroying federal property.
Remind me, what do you do?
So, I work at NIH. So in our building, when you walk into the main lobby, they have these 4 gaudy photos of Trump, J.D. Vance, RFK, head director of NIH that they appointed. And I was just like, man, Fuck these guys. Yeah, I just decided to just rip them off the wall. They were like bolted in. I just peeled them off. And I put them in the trash by the front door.
Now, this destruction of property violates 18 U.S.C. 1361, a felony that can carry up to 10 years in prison.
Is that like illegal or anything to do that?
Federal property.
Good riddance. Secret safe.
Bragging on tape about destroying federal property, tearing down paintings of J.D. Vance and President Trump and putting them in the trash can, which is a felony.
And it was really funny because my coworker and one of my best friends who I got a job with me, he like comes and finds me, he's like, dude, you'll never believe it. Someone had the balls to fucking take photos of the wall. I didn't think anyone had the balls in this place to do that. Like, that's so fucking hilarious. I love it. I was walking by the break room and all these people were talking about how the photos are in the trash and all this other stuff, and I look at him like,
oh my gosh.
I did that. He was like, I had a feeling you were the one that did that. I was like, someone has to have balls around here. What do you mean? Like, someone has to, like, I don't know. And then we just start busting out laughing.
So that's not, is that like illegal or anything to do that?
Federal property.
Good riddance.
I didn't do it. Shh. I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw photos there before.
Secret Santa.
If you damage anything that the federal government owns, you're destroying federal property. Federal property is not to be.
They make it so difficult, don't they?
Not too difficult. I took those ones.
Jeez, a little booze and a little cleavage in front of their face, and guys just melt.
Now, this destruction of property.
Wow. What an idiot. That's a good one. Another New York City subway horror. Oh, man. Oh, no, another fire thing. Oh, jeez. 56-year-old homeless man was set on fire while sleeping on a 3 train near Penn Station early Monday. Suspect calmly fled, and the victim was hospitalized with serious burns. The perp. Migrant protester. Oh, great. What are you wearing?
I've been here for 38 years, and I cannot articulate.
Oh, a Luigi Mangione protester.
How disappointed I am in we the people that we allow this to fall so easily. Having 38 years ago, because I bought into it, yes, I wanted to come here. 38 years later, after being here and realizing how it's more fast, it's more smokes and mirrors, I am ready to leave. I can't financially leave right now, but the first opportunity financially that I can get, I am leaving, and I'm leaving.
Oh, do you need someone to pay your ticket so you can get the fuck out and never come back?
On principle.
I'm sure they can be arranged.
Because I feel that if I, as an immigrant, remain in a fascist country, I've been here for.
This is fine. Goodbye. Go. Bon voyage. I'll contribute to your ticket. As long as you promise never to come back. Johnson doesn't commit to swearing in GOP Tennessee-elect Van Epps this week. Says he hopes to do it as soon as possible. What? No idea. Pentagon Review finds Pete Hegseth's Signal chat violated regulations and could have endangered troops.
A Pentagon review on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the Signal messaging app has found he did, in fact, violate Defense Department regulations. Earlier this year, Secretary Hegseth, along with other top Trump officials, accidentally included a journalist in a Signal group chat discussing sensitive military strikes in Yemen. CBS News is working on seeing the report. The House and Senate Armed Services Committees have received it. The current version is classified. A redacted version is expected to be made public as early as tomorrow. Again, this Pentagon review on the Defense Secretary's use of the app, finding he did, in fact, violate regulations. Our team is following this. We'll have more throughout the afternoon. A Pentagon review on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the Signal.
Interesting. Okay. In an effort to own Secretary of War Pete Hegseth over Signalgate, looks like Democrat Senator Mark Kelly leaked classified info to the Wall Street Journal. Oh, so this came from Mark Kelly, huh? Last I checked, leaking classified info was bad. Will Senator Kelly face consequences? Per CNN, the IG report was classified. Okay. So yeah, was he the source for this? If so, like, wow. They're, again, just like it's like he wants something to be done to him. They're trying to provoke the Trump admin into doing something. Today, my admin is taking historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable.
Today, my administration is taking historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car much more affordable for countless American families and also safer. We're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculously burdensome, horrible, actually, CAFE standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems, gave all sorts of problems to automakers. And we're not only talking about here, we're talking about outside of our country, because nobody could do it. Nobody wanted to do it, and it was ridiculous, very expensive. It put tremendous upward pressure on car prices. Combined with the insane electric vehicle mandate, Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%. And in one case, they went up 18% in 1 year. Today, we're taking one more step to kill the Green New Scam as part of the greatest scam, probably, well, other than Russia, and a few others I could name. The greatest scam in American history, the Green New Scam, and it's a quest to end the gasoline-powered car. This is what they wanted to do, even though we have more gasoline than any other country by far. And people want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives, but they do want the gasoline car. Right now, it's leading away by a lot. The car business is a very interesting business, but we want to keep it that way.
$70 billion now being invested in the American auto industry. All right.
From day one, I've been taking action to make buying a car more affordable. I signed an executive order.
Oh, we just heard all that.
After falling by 5% under Biden, U.S. auto production has surged by 10% so far this year. You know, I won the auto workers vote, but now even the head of the auto workers said Trump is the greatest president we've ever seen. And he happens to be right about that.
Keep getting those factories built and opened up.
We're protecting our auto workers, and we're making it easier for every family to afford high-quality cars. In other words, we're bringing automobiles back and the manufacturing of automobiles back into this country. We lost 52% over the years, 52% of our automobile manufacturing. You see it, closed factories all over the place. Now they're all opening up. They're being, in most cases, they're being knocked down, and new ones are being built in their place. And a big beneficiary is the state of Michigan, but South Carolina, even states that didn't really do too much with the automobiles, they're opening up plants. It's been amazing. So between automobile plants, AI plants, and plants of every other nation, really every other type.
Okay, what are we down to? Under 20 minutes. All right. Let's skip through a lot of this. See if we get to some of the questions. All right, here we go.
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem. You know, we stopped every boat we knock out. We save 25,000 American lives.
That's right.
And if you look at our numbers, the drugs coming in through sea are down 91%. I'm surprised there's 9%. You want I don't know who's doing the 9%, but it's down 91, and we're going to start very soon on land, and I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that. I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
I have to assume that's talking about video evidence of the narco boat thing. We believe that people should be able to make a choice on, just vehicle stuff. All right. Joe Biden and the AutoPen.
The man operating the AutoPen, and I'm sure there are more than one, because I think some of the people can operate it themselves. Some of the high-level people operate it themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an AutoPen onto very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe CAFE standards, okay, as an example. Who signed CAFE? If you ask Biden what's a CAFE standard, he would have absolutely no idea. He'd say, where is the CAFE located? The guy didn't know anything. The man...
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. All right.
The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest
Total moron, that guy.
Somali community in the country, and his police chief.
Well, then he's a fool.
Well, his police chief is also
I
saying
would be
that
proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. Look, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, you know, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Walz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state, it's a hellhole right now. And the Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with... Go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution. All she does is complain about this country. Without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon. I hope. But what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is not even believable. It's not even believable. And a lot of it starts with the governor. A lot of it starts with Barack Hussein Obama, because that's when people started coming in. And you have to have people come in that are going to love our country, cherish our country. They want to kiss our country goodnight. They talk about our country. We want them to pray for our country. This is not the people living in Minnesota. And she's a disaster. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople, okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
Two Virginia men arrested for conspiring to destroy government databases. What? These defendants abuse their positions as federal contractors to attack government databases and steal sensitive government information. Who? What is this about? Individuals like Munib and Sohaib Akhtar, brothers, both of Alexandria, Virginia. Wow. Indicted November 13th for conspiring to delete databases used to store U.S. government information. Both were federal contractors following their termination of their employment. The brothers allegedly sought to harm the company and its U.S. government customers by accessing computers without authorization, issuing commands to prevent others from modifying the databases before deletion, deleting databases, stealing information, and destroying evidence of their unlawful activities. This is just like a revenge thing. Wow. Doctor who provided ketamine to Matthew Perry before his fatal overdose, sentenced to 30 months in prison. Wow. Had nearly forgotten about all that. King tides are... What? California king tides. Driving dramatic surges along the San Francisco Bay Area shoreline with waves flooding streets in Pacifica, California. Ooh. Officials warning pedestrians to avoid the waterfront. That's a pretty cool sight. Family members charged in death of pregnant woman in Michigan. What the heck? Lured to a home and tortured in an attempt to remove the unborn infant. What?
Attorney describing what investigators say led to the death of Rebecca Park and her baby. The accused, Rebecca's biological mom, Courtney Bartholomew, and stepdad, Brad Bartholomew.
They brought Rebecca Park to their home. They forced her into a vehicle and took her into the woods where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out of her, ultimately causing her death and the death of the baby.
The courtroom was filled with the same people who desperately searched for Rebecca after she was reported missing.
What on earth?
1 month ago. And now, hearing the details that...
I don't even know what to say to that. Wow. U.S. Senate confirms Trump federal judicial nominee Matthew Orso, 5741, North Carolina. Senator Rand Paul, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, and others filed to block President Trump from engaging in hostilities against Venezuela as the narco strikes are ramping up. Huh. Somalians in Minnesota live stream themselves cursing and harassing ICE agents. And sounds about right. Very on brand for that so-called community. They are a nasty bunch.
They've been knocking at my cousin's door. Yeah. He doesn't have a warrant. So they're actually trespassing right now. Right? Because I called the cops. They can't do that.
They're getting ready.
You're actually trespassing.
I'm not trespassing.
Yes, you are, because you're not here. You're not for what? Who gave you the permission to come here and knock at his door?
I can come in and knock at his door.
For what?
You don't need permission to knock on a door, man.
That's harassing. You're an unwanted guest, so you're basically trespassing.
Well, I think you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I'm actually right. I'm recording this. I did call the police, and they're on their way.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
oh boy.
Wait. You can't just be just.
سيف باطورة عمل في عمل جوتورة. يلا ابد بادي. أنا محمد بادي. ورامس أنا ورامس سوريا سد سد. كوادي. وعرّن. كوادي.
All right. Thanks, Seth, to bring Christmas back to the Pentagon.
We are gathered to celebrate the blessing of Christmas season here at the Pentagon. And a couple of months ago, my wife said, babe, President Trump brought Merry Christmas back. We're going to bring Christmas back to the Pentagon. And that's what we're doing. We are going to light a new permanent Christmas tree, and this one is a beauty. 14-foot Nellie Stevens holly from Chantilly, Virginia, local. They say when the tree was planted, there were bald eagles flying overhead. True story. Fitting for this building. It will grow to 30 feet tall and live for at least 50 years. A fitting tribute to the warrior ethos here. It replaced a small serviceberry tree that was slated for removal anyway. So it made sense. We are gathered to celebrate the blessing of Christmas.
Okay. And a third Afghan would-be terrorist let in under Biden has been arrested in a week by ICE agents in Virginia. John Shah Safi, reportedly an ISIS-K supporter, got here September 2021. Secretary Kristi Noem terminated his TPS application. TPS reports. They all have to go back, indeed. That'd be great. All right, let me see what else we can find in the last 5. I'm sure we can dredge up a little something. Yeah, let's go over here.
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we certainly really.
We saw that. All right. Heck. Oh. Okay, here we go. House Democrats hold press conference on how AI is racist. Really?
I represent Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania.
Oh my God.
It's a city in a region that is uniquely situated as a town that represents simultaneously both the past and the future. We represent the past with industries and heavy manufacturing, steel, everyone knows this for that. And also, people don't know this, but we also represent industries and economies of the now and of the future with AI and robotics and space and technology and STEM. That's why it's so important that we stand here today demanding and directing.
You don't strike me as a technologically inclined individual, ma'am.
These technologies as they develop to make sure that there's accountability. Just for a second, just think about our picture. There's a single mom. Right? She's applying for housing. She has to study work. She's done everything that she was told to do. And she still gets denied. Not by a landlord, right, who she can't talk to. It's not by a person who can explain why she was denied. She got denied by an algorithm, right? No reason given, no path to appeal, and the harm is very real, even if the decision maker is invisible. It isn't the future that we're talking about here. We're actually talking about things that are happening right now. The reality is that technology does not exist above our society. It reflects every bias and every inequality and inequity that has yet to be fixed. Right now, algorithms help to decide who gets those jobs, who gets approved for a loan, who gets targeted by law enforcement, and too often the burden falls on the Black communities, brown communities, immigrants, poor and working class people who are already dealing with their share of burden in an inequitable society. And that's why the reintroduction of the Artificial Intelligence Civil Rights Act is so important. This bill puts up the necessary guardrails in an age of this and misinformation. If technology is shaping people's lives, then we have to mitigate the harms that it can cause, or in some cases are already causing. I represent neighborhoods that know what it feels like to be over-policed and underinvested and overlooked. Communities that have been redlined and exploited. Communities that have always been told to wait for justice. And we can't allow artificial intelligence to become the next tool that deepens those wounds.
Oh boy. Supermarket employee accused of starting fire during Thanksgiving shopping rush on Staten Island. Well, I guess that's one way to get home. Oh, wow. They're just, wow. Yeah, it seemed to be like pushing it through from the other side. What the heck? Oh, there's the individual in question. 21-year-old Dominic Sacchetti. After reviewing the footage, Sacchetti started the fire on a product shelf containing paper goods. Spread quickly, causing an expected $100,000 in damages. Ouch. All right. Well, speaking of fires, China has introduced a cutting-edge fire truck featuring an integrated drone designed to combat blazes in high-rise buildings. What the heck? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's actually pretty dang cool. I mean, I'm not... How high does it go? Like, how much... I'm not really sure how much of an advantage it has over like a standard crane kind of deal. Definitely looks more portable, I guess. I can probably go higher. That's neat. Okay, 3 cops injured in a shootout at a gas station in Omaha.
Before I get into what took place here. Today at about noon at Phil's Foodway, 30th and Ames, a shooting took place. A white male about 50 was shot in the chest several times by a Hispanic male in his late 20s. A plate number was ascertained from that crime scene. Assault detectives from the Omaha Police Department and gang unit detectives from the Omaha Police Department got upon the car, followed that car to the QT here. They watched the suspect get out, go into the bathroom, at which time when the bathroom came out, the suspect started firing on the officers. 2 officers have been hit. Third one has been hit by shrapnel. The officers returned fire. The suspect, 29-year-old Hispanic male, roughly late 20s, is dead at the scene of the QT at this point in time. We are continually investigating the scene. There's a lot of information we don't have. I'm giving you the basics at this point in time. This is a very dangerous day involving this suspect in the city of Omaha. He has shot a citizen in our community. He shot at several law enforcement officers. Very dangerous day as it relates to this particular suspect today. When we are done here, the mayor and I will go to UNMC. We want to get a personal update on our officers' conditions. I'm going to turn this over to Mayor.
Okay. New York City subway rider stands up to man harassing passengers on the train. Nice.
Bro, he's not worried about you. He's smiling, living his life. You want to bother him. Pick on somebody that's like that, nigga. I don't like that. The fuck? Ask me why I'm smiling at you, nigga.
Oh, black people holding their own accountable again. Oh my goodness.
I'm smiling at you. Ask me
This
that.
is another case of this happening in New York City. Way to go, New York black people.
Nigga, the fuck you want to ask somebody that's not doing shit, minding his business? Ask me. I'm like that. No, you threaten him, nigga. I seen that. I'm like that. Ask me. Ask me why I'm smiling at you like that. Ask me why I'm smiling at you like that. Oh, all right. You pussy. You pick and choose your battles. He was minding his business, not even paying you no fucking mind. You's a bitch. You's a bitch. You's pussy. And I hope you know that. Okay. Exactly. Bro, he's not worried about you. He's smiling, living his life. You want to bother him.
What, this guy?
Pick on somebody that's like that, nigga. I don't like that. The fuck? Ask me why I'm smiling at you, nigga.
Oh man, yeah, I saw this one. Ridiculous. The New York Methodist quote-unquote pastor informs the congregation that he is becoming a woman. Oh wait, not becoming a woman, but giving up pretending to be a man, because that's right, deep down, he's always been a woman.
My parents okay with this? Absolutely not.
Well, Jay, why wouldn't they be?
They texted me this morning and they asked for me to tell you all that they do not support me. And that they have chosen their convictions and their beliefs over supporting their child. Everyone gets nervous when there's a special announcement from the pastor. I'm not leaving. Hold on to that. I'm going to hold you to it. So, rarely do I did not get into ministry to talk about myself or my personal life.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
sometimes
never about you.
There are things that happen
except for today.
A pastor's personal life that is going to find its way out into ministry. And so I am inviting you to join me in a season of creative transformation for myself, and I think for all of us. So I get to announce with joy that I'm transitioning. I'm affirming and saying to all of you that I am transgender. And so the best way to put this is that I'm not becoming a woman.
You could just stop there. You could just stop there and you'd be fine.
Giving up.
You're not becoming a woman. Yes.
Pretending to be a man.
Nope. Nope, not that part. Not the second part. Yeah. Churches in this country are freaking deep fried, man. All right. Anything else? I don't really see anything else. And I think relief has just arrived, so I will be leaving you guys. Laura's here. Yep, she is. How you doing?
I'm good. Still trying to figure out a little bit of my headphones issues, but hey.
I can keep going for a minute if you need
all right.
You good?
No, I'm just using my PC. You seem to be okay, hearing me okay, and I can hear you fine, so.
Cool. Well, all right.
Yeah, I'll navigate it.
Cool.
All right, man. Have a good one.
I will. Yeah, you have a good show.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys. All right, everybody. All right, YouTube fans. Where are you guys at? Let me pump you back up real quick. That's it for me. I got nothing else, so I'll be leaving you until tomorrow evening. I'll be back tomorrow evening at 5. Where's my main camera view? There we are. All right, I'm gonna go kick it. I'm gonna go relax a little bit, watch a movie or something, and I will see you guys tomorrow evening. All right, bye bye.